All right. What I'm going to talk about today now is creative inspiration and the value of having the right tools that inspire you within your creation. For somebody that has been doing this for as long as I have, for those of you who don't have any idea who I am, what I do, 40 plus years I have been in the realm of entertainment as a studio musician, engineer, sound designer, singer, songwriter, drummer, synth programmer, product designer, documentary filmmaker, theme park ride composer, a bunch of stuff that I've loved to do and has been my life all my life. And it continues to be my life. And one thing I learned early on is how valuable it is to have the right tools for a photographer, to have the right lens. Even back in the days when my friends had dark rooms, having the right paper, having the right chemicals, the right lights. As a dancer, having the right shoes, trumpet players, the right mouthpiece, the right oils. It goes on. The right horsehair for bows and rosin. You can get so hyper specific, especially when you get into strings and drumsticks and drum heads. It's exhausting. Trust me, if I point that lens over towards my drum set, there is a stack of drum heads that I have just put on my drum set. I have played them, I have recorded them, and literally taken them off to dispose of them because they don't fit the sound that I'm looking for. I have 3 different size drum sticks that I use for various applications because each one does a different thing. It allows the drum to register, to talk, to resonate, dependent on the genre or how I want to communicate what I'm doing. A lighter stick on the cymbals it provides a different timbre, a different delicacy. These are the things that help drive me towards my creative goals. And with that has helped create significant success in my life. Having the right microphone, the right preamp. But today I want to talk about sound. And these days I'm working in immersive audio. So sound is 360 degrees around me. Overhead I've got speakers behind me. I don't know if you can see them, but there's 4 speakers in an array creating a canopy above me. And then there's 7 speakers going around me and then a subwoofer. And I can play sound anywhere in the dimension between all of those speakers. It's so critical that I am inspired by what I am listening to. Or like I've unfortunately experienced in the past, I just click stop, close, save, and turn it off. When I have reached a limitation in a tool or found an inefficiency in a product, when I find my limitation, that becomes exhausting. That becomes an anxiety. It becomes a stress. Yes, I'm very fortunate that in those moments, I have been able to afford experimentation. I have exhausted so many options. I just went through an exhausting headphone demo in my room here. 17 pairs of headphones. Everything from $150 headphones to $1,500 headphones. Everything from focal to oddies to atoms to biodynamics, Audio Technica, AKGs, Hi-Fi Man, planars, dynamics, you name it. And then a host of DACs and headphone amps to find the right combination that fits where I'm at today. Because the way you hear is constantly changing especially as you get older. Especially when you've beat the shit out of your ears as a drummer for almost 5 decades. That's a lot. It's a lot of wear and tear. Touring, studio, it's a lot. It's a lot of stuff going on. And with that was my son digging up a box of dead things that he buried a couple of years ago and wanted to see how they decay. That's his thing. And I allow him to figure out what his thing is too. I exhausted so many pairs of headphones across so many tests. Tests that were frequency-based, tests that were focus-based, tests that were soundstage-based, immersive-based, to see where the sounds were replicated within this 360-degree spherical space in my head on headphones. Some headphones, you put them on and everything you've ever listened to is like out here. It's like an arena. It's some of the craziest shit you ever heard. But it takes you out of the intimacy of the intended performance of the artist. Records that I've listened to for decades. I have a sense of what the artist was trying to convey, what they were trying to present sonically. And that's what I try to take into account when I'm listening. Always. I've listened to $100,000 speakers in some of the greatest studios. I sat in the Massenburg room and in the ATC room there and listened to an Atmos mix. And I was blown away. Did it inspire me, the sound? No, it didn't. It was an experience, but it didn't really reach me like the Atmos system that I heard that was built on PCM speakers. That was fucking just phenomenal. That was existential. That was on a whole different level. Just like when I heard the larger Atmos system that was built on Dynaudio speakers. Just, you get to a certain level of technology and design that inspires you. Now, again, I have been very lucky to afford situations for myself, through my successes, mind you. I have never purchased anything just to purchase it because I could. That's not my life. When I want something of value in my creative process, I sell a bunch of shit that I'm not using, and then I make some money, and I put some of that money over here, and I might not be able to buy it today, but in a couple months, I have a goal. This is what I want to do. Now, I've had focals. I just took my Atom S3Xs down after 10 years. And I went through 7 sets of monitors to pick those. I have my, what do I have now? My Genelecs, my 8050Bs. I absolutely love those. But my surround sound system is made out of Cali Audios. I've got a front array of their 3-ways, and then the rest are just 2-way. Above me is two-way. But there was something about how that sound impacted me that made me connect with what I was doing even more. When I played a piano sound back, when I played a mix of my drums back, and they hit me in the same way, I was able to express myself while I was playing. I got that back. I could hear myself emoting in my playing. My intention in my playing was captured and represented back to me through the speakers. And I was looking for something like that again, because 3 years ago, I went through another 15 sets of headphones. I currently own 9 sets of headphones. Over the past 15 years, again, Blue and Focal and Biodynamics and another exhausting list of headphones. And when I find something that represents the sound that I hear in my head, it inspires me to get up every day. It inspires me to get up off my ass and get back to it. I want to hear the richness. I want to hear the life coming back to me. I want to hear it recreated over and over and over and over and over again. The same thing goes with when I listen to music in my stereo room. I actually have an optical stylus, an optical needle. It's an actual light that emits into the groove and reads the groove and then goes back through an analog box and decodes that and turns it into audio. Yeah, I'm a little nuts like that. But when friends come over to my house and they listen to records that they've listened to all their life, and they hear them played back on my system, and it's like they're listening to the record for the very first time, they're speechless. Some of them cry. Some of them are just with this permagrin on their face, like, what is this? And I exhausted another couple of dozen speaker sets for that room. PSBs and B&Ws and Martin Logans and Monitor Audio and Klipsch and my favorite word, Tannoy Gold Reference concentric 15s that I lost in a hurricane. Those were probably some of my favorite speakers ever. But that's when I stumbled upon a company called Tecton Audio out of Utah. And the designer is Eric Alexander. And he's known for his work on some of the most high-end and highly respected speakers in the world, building crossovers and his acoustic designs and methodologies. When I started researching his speakers, I realized that I could actually pick up the phone and call him. It was that simple. There it was. It's like, if you have any questions, call me. I sent him a text because I didn't want to be that bold. But I got on the phone with him. I talked to him for almost 2 hours. He asked me what I like to listen to, where I'm listening to, what I'm driving my speakers with, what speakers have I had in the past, what inefficiencies or issues have I had in the past with speakers. What don't I like about certain brands of speakers? We went through an exhausting conversation about my personal likes and dislikes and characteristics that I want to hear represented in the sound that I want coming back to me. And he said, I have a pair right now that were a magazine demo set. They're supposed to go to a journalist. I want to send these to you. I think these are exactly what you're looking for. And in that moment, he said, what color do you want them? I said, oh man, you've got this silver dollar gray that looks beautiful. He goes, you got it. I'm going to have them sprayed tomorrow in the warehouse. They'll go out in 2 days. Let me know how you like them. And he gave me a brilliant deal on the speakers. And when I tell you, I sat in front of these speakers and I wept. Literally wept. I could not believe how these speakers were reproducing records that I grew up on. Everything from Miles Davis, Coltrane, the Bee Gees, Supertramp, Zeppelin, Nick Kershaw. I have a wall of vinyl that I pull from for inspiration constantly. And when I put on Keith Jarrett, when I put on Katie Lang Ingenue, when I put on, good God, Toy Matinee, Weather Report, it doesn't matter. I mean, I get the list, it can go on. I always test my system with Steely Dan Gaucho. Always. Because there are certain little moments within those mixes where there's a little chime at the 9th bar on the 1, and there's a little bell tree before the 2nd verse, or there's Bernard Purdie going to the ride cymbal in the bridge. I mean, there are so many little things, or a little delay, or a singular reverb that's over here, that you have to have an unbelievable system to reproduce this sonically. When I heard these Tecton speakers, it blew me away. It ruined me. Because now I wanted that sound in my studio. So what I actually wound up doing was mixing to the best of my abilities in my studio and then bringing them into that room and playing them through those speakers and then coming back into here and making adjustments. And as we're having this conversation, I'm actually going to be reaching out to Eric to ask him to make me a custom pair of studio monitors to my specifications for my room, because that's what I want to hear all the time. You're probably wondering what happened to all the headphones and which ones did I choose. Well, for immersive audio mixing and general mixing, I picked Sennheiser 490 Pros. Outstanding. Absolutely outstanding headphones that will not break the bank. They are half the price of half my headphones. But the winner at them all was the Atom Audio H200s. They're closed backs. $170 on Amazon. They were better than 90% of the headphones at any price range that I had. Mind-blowing. So one of the things I also want to make mention of in this little dissertation, if you will, you don't have to spend an exhausting amount of your savings to get incredibly well-defined, highly inspiring sonic bliss. When I wake up and I walk in this room and I put on my headphones, and now I'm actually listening to some FiO, FIO, FT7 planar magnetic open back headphones. They're beyond anything I've ever heard in a headphone. It's a little much. I mean, it's spectacular, absolutely spectacular. So I listen to those just for fun, just for listening back to what I'm referencing, and then I can judge my final mixes on those. But they were better than the $1,500. They were better than the $1,000. They were better than the $800 headphones. When you find something you like that inspires you, that is a tool that you use on a daily basis, it's so important to find what represents you. Don't just go online and because somebody says, this is the best speaker, headphone, lens, brush, shoe, tool ever. It's so subjective because what I like is completely different than what you like. I can almost guarantee you, even if it's by that much. And when you get into these exhausting demos of gear, some of them are really this far off from each other. Like the Sennheiser 490 Pro versus the Sony MV1, which is an immersive branded headphone. Didn't suit my needs. Didn't hit me. Didn't really knock me out. Like when I heard the much bolder, visceral, engaging sound of the 490 Pros. Now I have people that love the 590 Pros over the 490 Pros. But this is because of the shape of their head, the shape of their ears, their ear canals, and what they've been listening to all their lives. It's so important that you try out whatever you're going to buy. Whatever you're going to use to create your character identification of who you are with what you're trying to do, it's really valuable. And it might not make sense to you now because there is this thought process of make whatever you can with whatever you have. If it's an SM57 and a Tascam 4-track, make your music. Make it happen. And I'm not telling you not to. I'm not telling you to wait. Trust me. Make your art with whatever you have to the best of your abilities. But there is probably going to be a point where you go, I wonder what it would be like if I had something that did this beyond what I currently have. And so my point is, take your time and try different levels of things. You can go into places and you can try things. You can rent things, like you can rent lenses. You can go into a store and you can you can listen to walls of speakers with your own CD, with your own stuff, whatever you want to listen to. You can check it out. You can check out microphones. You can buy stuff off of Amazon and return it. You can buy stuff anywhere online and return it. Some charge a stocking fee, $15. Wouldn't you rather spend $15 to return a $2,000 mic than get stuck with a $2,000 mic that doesn't work for you? Try things out. It's like I absolutely love this Lewitt Audio Ray microphone. This capsule sounds phenomenal on anybody. I can put that microphone up on anybody. I think it was 3 1/4. You know, it's like you don't need to put your house on the line. You don't need to put yourself in financial debt to get things. My Tecton Audio speakers shipped were a quarter of the price of my Adam Audio S3X H's that I used in this room. And you can go look online and see how much those are. And when I tell you, these custom speakers that have blown everything out of the water, I mean, literally, I've had mixing engineers, immersive engineers, producers, musicians, filmmakers, you name it, whatever it is, whatever their passion is, they have come and sat in my room. They've called me and said, I'm going to be in town. I hear you've got the Tecton speakers. Can I come by and check them out? Some have CDs, some bring a little bag of LPs, and we sit in the room, might crack a bottle of wine, might have a sip of whiskey, and we just sit there and I let them play record after record after record. And they just sit there looking at me going, what the fuck is this? This is magic on a whole different level. And it really doesn't cost that much. Most people will spend $1,000, $1,500 on studio monitors. You might not even need to do that with studio monitors based on what I know and what I currently have after exhausting tens of thousands of dollars on trial and error to find out that an $800 pair of three-way Cali Audio in-8s is probably one of the best monitors I've ever used in my studio. Unbelievable. For somebody who's been in the business this long and has listened to walls of sound, to know that I can get something that is incredibly resolving and gives back to me what I want to hear, because everything that I do is an expression of myself. And if it's not coming back to me with that same expression, it's hard. It's hard to know that that's going to reach people with the same intention, have the same value to it. Yeah, this might not be your problem, but it is my problem. Or I choose to make it my problem. Does it stop me from creating? No. I work through it. But I'm at the point where I don't have that issue anymore. I have found the value in finding what works for me. And some people need to spend $5,000 per speaker to justify their position in life. Maybe that's their thing. I used to think that. I used to think I'm a producer, I have a studio, I want people to walk in here and see $100,000 worth of gear. I want them to see esoteric, handmade shit and go, I've never seen that. I'll go, yeah, that was made for me by the designer. We got on the phone, we talked about it. That's been mastering compressors, two bus compressors for me, EQs. You know, I don't know if you, Audioscape, before Audioscape was Audioscape. Chris, the guy who designed this stuff, used to live in Daytona. I used to be in St. Augustine. He used to bring over prototypes to me to try out. And I would buy them because they were that good. There are all, those people exist. But I used to think that when you walked into a studio, you had to see $15,000 worth of monitors. You had to have an assortment of $10,000 worth of microphones and $75,000 worth of outboard gear and a console. That doesn't need to happen anymore. That's unnecessary for me. For me, I'm also at a point in my life where I have nothing. I don't have to prove anything to anybody. I do what I do, and I'm confident in what I do. And I know that I can do anything that I need to with what I have. But I'm still going to reach out to Eric Alexander to make me some custom monitors for my studio. Because when you hear something that you can't unhear, it's really tough. It's really tough to go backwards. So I guess all in all, I'm trying to say is it's really important that you are inspired by the tools that you have, that you use on a daily basis to create your art. So I'll leave you with that.